What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Hello, my beautiful co-reporters. It's a recap of what went down on last night's episode of Teen Mom OG. You guys know the drill at this point, right? Let me know, where are you watching from? And also, what would you rate the episode on a scale from 1 to 10? Okay, so let me just get up here, figure out everything you guys are saying. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Susie tells me that there's a school shooting that's happened in Dallas, Texas. So sorry, you guys, to hear about what happened there. Oh my goodness. It's always so sad to hear about this kind of news. I hope that you guys are staying safe and that everything is resolved on that side. I haven't heard about it yet, so I don't know too much about it, but I feel horrible to hear about that. Slim is here from London. Austin, Texas is here. Ireland is here as well. Milwaukee, Chicago, Sweetwater, Texas, Washington State. Wow, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome. It's so nice to see all of you guys. Some of my fellow Canadians here. Hey. Guadalupe, Arizona. You see, I know Guadalupe, the country, but I've never heard of Guadalupe, Arizona. That is absolutely cool. Someone asked me about my scarf. This scarf, I got it in Montmartre here in Paris in the 18th arrondissement. I think the lady gave it to us as a gift or something. I think it was like €5 or it was a gift when we went to get some souvenirs from my friend when she was visiting us. So I didn't see you rate the episode. What did you think about the episode overall? As usual, there's not too much happening. So some people are wondering why I don't do pre-recorded recaps anymore of this season. And the reason is because it's not that like funny. It's not like that zippy or poppy where you could just like crack jokes as it's happening, like it's very like bare bones. So now I really take the opportunity to just enjoy speaking with you guys, trying to make it as interactive as possible, like as fun as possible for what it is. And I see Montreal is here again. Bonsoir, Kelsey, ou peut-être c'est bonjour pour toi. I think it's maybe 1 o'clock. And Van is here as well. Thank you so much, Shan, for always being here. You are the absolute best. Okay, so some of these ratings are like 3, 1.5. See, this is why I don't pre-record, you guys. And thank you so much for the compliments, you guys. You know what I do? I use retinol every single night. That's how you get a glowing complexion. Retinol. I swear by it. So let me start at the very beginning of the episode then, you guys, okay? So Caitlyn is ready to take on microblading clients. Remember last season, she had gotten into microblading and then she wanted to open up her own sort of business for it before she even graduated from like the schooling or whatever. But she is doing an apprenticeship at a very established microblading place and she wants to take on her clients so that she can get her apprenticeship hours up. And so she decides that she's going to advertise her services on not on YouTube, on Instagram. And she looks really good. She's worried though that she's going to get either no clients at all or too many clients. There's never any kind of like a middle ground with these people, you notice, when it comes to work, money, children. Like it's always one extreme or the other. There's no rationalizing thing, thinking about like middle of what could potentially happen in these sorts of situations. By the way, you guys, if you want to watch these full episodes for free, make sure to get yourself a VPN. I use ExpressVPN. I've got the affiliate link in the description box below of this video. And then go over to ctv.ca. You can watch all of the Teen Mom shows, The Young and Pregnant, whatever. Hey you can get that too and watch like all of the Bravo TV shows and network shows as well. It's really good. I swear by it. So now Cheyenne, we're in LA and she decides that she wants to get a 4D ultrasound at a place that allows up to 10 people to come into the room with her despite the COVID circumstances. And I thought that was really nice of her to go looking for something like that in order to include Zach in, the process this time around. Let's see here. No balance. Some of you guys are saying, yeah, no balance. Filler episodes, no Farrah. She stresses us all out, and I'm only entertained by your lives. Thank you so much, Ashley. It's so nice to have you. Shan says, do you know what I love watching on there? Season 2 of Families of the Mafia. It's so good. See, I saw the previews of that, but I haven't watched the show yet. I'm going to get into that. Oh my God. So now, Ryan is still Macy's storyline a little bit, right? So it's Taylor's birthday and he decides to have a boys trip with Bentley and Maverick for like Bentley's baseball game or whatever. And so Macy wants to call into the restaurant to get a cake delivered for Taylor as his dessert. And so she calls one of like the other baseball moms to see where they're at or whatever. And then the mom starts gossiping about Ryan's parents being there for Bentley's baseball game. And, Macy wanted to know if they spoke to Bentley at all while they were there. And I felt like, wow, how riveting. You really can, carry a storyline by yourself, apparently, right? Now, Amber is up next in Indiana. She still has no friends. So she's got a producer that has to come over and talk to her about Leah on her living room couch bed thing. Isn't that a little bit interesting? Why did she convert her couch in the living room to like a bed? She had like a duvet cover, she had pillows and stuff. And so I was wondering, like, is she sleeping down there? Is it easier whenever she has James or something? And why does she not have any actual friends to speak to? Why is she constantly either speaking to a producer or her mother? Come on, Amber, come on. Like, her scenes are so damn dry. They truly are. So she talks to the producer, right? And she's telling him about how she talked to Gary and asked him whether or not Leah had anything to say about that video that she sent her. I remember last week, you guys were so funny. You guys were like, oh my God, like she filmed that video looking like she was a hostage or something. It was hilarious. And so Amber says that Leah didn't want to respond to the cringeworthy listen, Gary told Amber, that Leah didn't really have any kind of response to the video that she had sent over. And so speaking of Gary, we flip over to his side of the scene, and he and Christina talk about how they want for Leah to be able to see Amber and her brother James. So they want to start mending things with Amber. And Christina says that she's forgiven Amber for calling her a homewrecker and all those other things she said. And they decide that they're going to invite her over to the house. So this is where I had a couple of questions for you guys. How did you feel about that? Did it start to feel as though maybe, I don't want to accuse Gary and Christina of keeping Leah from Amber for their own agenda, because I don't believe that that is what they're doing. But I found it curious that even though Leah still wants nothing to do with Amber, they felt as though because they personally feel better with Amber, it's a good idea to invite her over. Did you guys think that that was fair to Leah? Or was that a little bit weird? Did that strike any of you guys as odd as well? Because I don't know. I raised my eyebrow at that a little bit. I don't know that I particularly liked it. So let's see what some of you guys have to say. Chevy Lynn says it feels like they are forcing it. Leslie says, I think all of this playing out on TV is causing Leah's friends to influence her enough that she doesn't need Gary and Christina to do it. That is a very interesting perspective, Leslie, because you know what? I never really thought about it that way, because it is true that, they talk about Leah and her friends having access to these things, but I never really thought about her friends having any kind of opinion on it. But that very well could be true, that she might start to get ostracized from her friends or colleagues at school based on Amber's actions, and that's making her become incredibly defensive about it as well. I love my wife says, oh, what a cute username. Why is nobody talking about how much beer Macy and Taylor are drinking every episode? I have to admit, I haven't really noticed it. There was that one season when Macy was pregnant where they were drinking like wild. They were doing keg stands in restaurants, like they were acting like, they'd never seen beer before, like they were 17-year-old high school students. But this season, I haven't really noticed any like unusual amounts at all, but I might have to go back and look, or like, keep a closer eye in the future. Natasha says, I think Leah's going to cut ties with Amber when she's 18. I agree, but she's already started cutting those ties too. She's just going to maintain the status quo for a while. How did you guys feel, by the way, about Amber saying that she wants to tell Leah that she'll get over it, basically, right? She's like, I had the same kind of relationship with my mom when I really resented her. I hated her and everything, but now she's my best friend. Was that manipulative or not? Nadia says, Christina has got to be a saint. How can she forgive her when Amber is not sorry at all? Right? It really is wild the amount of things that they have to brush to the side in order to make Amber comfortable. It really is. Okay, let's see. Honestly, part of me feels like Grace Page is here. Hi, Grace Page. Nice to see you here. And I saw someone from Puerto Rico as well. So let me just start up here. Jimmy says, Leah has made it abundantly clear she doesn't want to have a relationship with Amber. They need to let her choose what's comfortable for Leah and stop protecting Amber. See, that's what makes me so confused about it, because that's what I thought they were finally starting to do. But then they basically tell on themselves and say, listen, we've forgiven her and we want to move forward. So now we're going to bring her around. So that's why I'm asking, like, is it really fair to Leah personally? Like, are they only having Amber based on their own feelings about her? Because even Gary was talking about how he was starting to get over things too. So I don't know. If Leah and Amber aren't pushed together, they're going to get cut from the show. Gary wants that MTV money. The thing is, though, that Gary has made such great investments already in his life, like financially speaking, that he's good without the show. So I would hope that he would stop, forcing Leah onto the show, like just for monetary gain. Stephanie says that, honestly, part of me feels like Gary and Christina are just being the bigger person for the camera and to change up the story a bit instead of filming same thing topic every time. See, that's the thing. Like, that very well could be it, but that then kind of implies that Leah isn't a real life actual kid who has these specific boundaries set in place that they're going to kind of obscure in order to change up a storyline. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is very odd. I'm not sure that I liked it very much. So now let's get back on. Well, this is just a short little comment. Remember, Bronx has been having issues at school, and so Mackenzie has decided to get a child psychologist to look into him. And so the child psychologist comes over and, she kind of talks to Bronx, plays with Bronx a little bit, and then forms a little bit of an assessment, which we will get into a little bit later on. Now, back in Michigan again, Caitlyn makes her microblading announcement on Instagram. And of course, she gets a whole bunch of people inquiring about her prices. Be honest, you guys, please be honest. Did you inquire about getting your eyebrows microbladed by Caitlyn? I really want to know. I genuinely want to know. Like, did you speak to her? Did you actually get your eyebrows microbladed by her, or were you placed onto a waiting list? Spill the damn tea, okay? One of the people actually did end up going, so we did actually get to see one of her clients, who obviously is a viewer of the show. So the owner of the salon, in my opinion, should make Caitlyn some sort of a partner. Maybe have Caitlyn invest a little bit so that she continues to bring business to this salon. I have a genuine question for you guys. Would it be better for Caitlyn to invest into the salon, or just become some kind of a partner or whatever, or a face of it or something like that? Or should she stick to her guns and open her own salon? I personally don't know that she's got the business knowledge, the skill set required to run an actual business, and I worry because she's already got so many issues with the IRS and everything. So does she really want to open up an actual practice that would make her an even bigger, target for the IRS? I don't know. Thank you so much, Shan. That is absolutely right, you guys. Please make sure to thumbs up this video. I'm loving your comments. That helps with the engagement and everything, and to share it wherever you can. Natasha says, I don't trust nobody but one girl with my eyebrows. See, honestly, I'm looking for a new eyebrow lady. I got mine microbladed, and she does a good job with it, like visually speaking. But the anesthesia, the topical stuff she uses is so weak. So it was brutal. It felt like I was being carved, when I was getting it done. So I don't think that I would personally go back to her. So, May says, I did not. I'm surprised people would fly in. Yeah, the fact that people came from really far, fly in, drive in and whatnot, was quite impressive to me. Hell no, I live in New Jersey. I'm not traveling to Detroit for a new microblader, respectively. See, I am not surprised at all. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Some people are saying that she should actually open her own practice as well. So, okay, let's see. Okay. Wow. I think she needs a partner in case she needs time for her emotional health or the kids. Exactly. That as well. Yep. But Valerie says, don't be partners with someone who owes taxes. They can come and take that lady's, ooh, that's true. They can take that lady's business to settle her tax debt. That's true. Shan says, no, Grace, no, we're happy to see Kate in the workforce. I like to see her out of the house. Me too. But I don't know that she can actually like run her own business. I don't see her as having that kind of skill set, at least not now. She still has not really put in the time, you know what I mean? So I would like to see her just continue there, or maybe like, I don't know, be a face of it, like something, or if she really wants to feel like, her own boss. Hi, Lacey. Welcome to the channel membership. We're so happy to have you here. Just the other day, me and my channel members, we did a live stream about Deborah Danielson, Farrah Abraham's mother, talking about how she's been excommunicated from Farrah. And yeah, it was very interesting if you want to catch up on that. So now, you guys, Amber, actually, no. We're going to talk about the girl who flew in. So the girl who came in, she's from Cleveland, Ohio, and she wanted Caitlyn to practice on her eyebrows. And, the poor girl, she was walking down the street, minding her own business, when a firecracker exploded in her face. Like, local neighborhood kids were playing with firecrackers, and they just exploded in her face and wiped her eyebrows off, which is horrible. But, like Kate said, and like she said as well, at least she still has her vision. That is the most important thing in this kind of situation, at least. But it's so horrible that, kids could do something like that ultimately ends up just completely altering your life, right? And your confidence. I assume that the girl having her eyebrows kind of like blasted off impacted her confidence in some way. Now, back up in Indiana again, Amber announced to another producer that Gary called her asking her to come by with James, and he also apologized for not accepting her last apology. I've got to ask y'all a question, okay? Do you remember last season that Christina and Gary were basically raising James for Amber? Do you think that is going to happen again now that they've kind of opened the door with her? Or will she only drop by like a reasonable adult here and there with a child? I personally feel as though she is going to be taking advantage of their kindness, dropping James off with them regularly and everything like that. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Like, I know they're nice people and everything, but I feel like she is going to kind of run them into the ground with that baby. So, Shan, speaking about the eyebrows from Caitlyn's thing, she says, I worked in plastic surgery. We dreaded Halloween because the ER is full of burn victims from firecrackers. And I could imagine New Year's and the 4th of July and everything too, right? Like, it's horrible. They always tell people, do it responsibly. Don't do it. Just go for the real big firecracker shows that are done by professionals, and they just don't listen. And people get hurt. Natasha asked, why is he apologizing for not accepting her Listen, it's Amber at the end of the day, right? It's Amber. And whatever you've got to do, I guess, is their motto with her. Does Gary still have feelings for Amber? One thing that happened that Amber talked about last season was that she was sitting on a couch and Gary kind of made her cuddle with him, and she felt very uncomfortable. And he told her not to tell Christina about the situation. So, and he kind of admitted to doing something along the lines at the reunion. So make of that what you will. I personally think the answer is at least slightly, like something weird is going on there. When were they raising James? So last season, Charisse, they were talking about how Amber would regularly leave James over at their house. I'm exaggerating, obviously, when I say raising, but she would regularly go to their house with a kid and leave the kid there and whatnot, or she'd be there for hours at a time. Now, Carla says, Gary low-key gives me the creeps. Me too. You have to remember their age difference when they got together. Amber was like 16, 17 or something like that, and he was in his 20s. So yeah, like I think inherently there is a little bit something off over there with, their relationship dynamics. Jamie, she says, Chelsea, she has a court order from when she attacked Andrew. She's not allowed to post or talk about James publicly. Yes. So that's why her visit was not able to be shown on. Now, let's get back into Amber a little bit here. So she talks to her producer about how she's excited to see Leah, even if it's just going to, see Leah roll her eyes and go upstairs and ignore her. She's like, at this point, it has been months since I've seen her, and I'm excited just to see her, period, which I'm calling cap on because remember, when she was dating Matt, she would talk about how she only saw Leah twice throughout her whole summer vacation over 2 or 3 months, right? And then when she broke up with Matt, she couldn't see Leah for months at a time either because she was healing from the breakup. But she had the emotional capacity to get with Dimitri and see him all the time. You know what I mean? It very much is fake. So let me get into your comments, you guys. I really enjoy catching your comments. Like, yes, let's see. Susie, she says, Gary wanting to see James and get involved with that relationship seems odd to me. Yeah, I could see it. He's always giving off. So you guys are not with the Gary stuff at all, huh? Okay. I do think Gary wants her and Leah to have a relationship. That's why he pushes so hard. Yeah, I could totally see that. And Mariah says that Gary likes to feel like the prize. He really does like to manipulate the woman. He does. And I feel like he did do some of that stuff with Christina as well. And thank you so much, Janae. That is so nice of you. Honestly, I dread watching this stuff because it's so boring, but I get to hang out with you guys. Like, this is, these are the things that you guys watch the most. So I'm like, let me hang out with my peeps. So that's fun. It's likewise. So now, in Tennessee, Macy starts complaining about not getting to spend much time with Bentley because of his jam-packed sports calendar. So she has this big whiteboard with like all the days of the week, and it's like written when all the kids have activities. And literally every single day was filled out with an activity. And I'm curious from you guys' perspective whether you felt as that was too much. Because here she is complaining that she doesn't really get to spend much time with her child because she's got him in way too many sports. So does that mean that she should dial it back, or is that just kind of the nature of the beast? Remember, Macy's incredibly competitive, right? Last season, she had Bentley in wrestling and she was helping him restrict his dieting and stuff. And that was very controversial in order for him to like make weight or something like that. Ryan and his parents, not that they have a leg to stand on or whatever, were criticizing her for that and being too competitive with Bentley and having him in way too many things. So I'm kind of curious how you guys feel about it. One thing I can say though is that I like that Macy keeps her kids active. Like her kids are not just there with like a tablet in their face in every scene, or like, I don't know, eating junk food in every scene. Like they're out there, they're like doing educational things, or they're playing. This episode, Jade asked, can I go play outside? She's like, yeah. It's like, it's nice. I like that, at the very least. So what are you guys kind of trying to say here? It kind of reminded me, because I used to watch this show called Wife Swap, and there were some episodes like that where like, the new wife, the new mom would kind of like, feel bad for the kids when they had quote unquote too many activities, and the kids were stressed because, between going to school, studying, having a social life, now they've got all of these sports, so they don't really have time for themselves, like they're kind of split everywhere. So I'm kind of curious, you guys, what are your thoughts? Lit I fuse, I can't stop, says, the whiteboard is an attempt to be seen as a perfect mom. I personally saw it as her just trying to be organized, because when you've got that many activities, you kind of want to write it down and visualize it to make sure that you don't miss out. Ashley, more than one intense activity at that time is hard, right? He's doing golf, he's doing baseball. And did he drop the wrestling thing? Because I haven't heard about wrestling, or maybe she knows better than to, scold that kid about his diet on TV for another season at this point. Chelsea says Macy wasn't Macy in a lot of sports and activities when she got pregnant with Bentley? That's a good question. I remember her being into, one of them was into four-wheelers, the other one was into dirt bikes, between her and Ryan. So I'm not sure. But yeah, she was always a very active girl. So I feel like this is just normal for her. It's kind of like in her blood. May says, no, trust me, activities, yeah, keep kids off the streets and provide structure. Trust me, I wish I had the money to expand my children's skills. I like that. And I think that it also kind of helps to foster teamwork, because a lot of these are team skills, discipline, stuff like that, goal setting, And of course, health and fitness. Ashley says, my 12-year-old is on one activity that he has daily after school. Anything else would be way too much. See, I can understand that perspective as well because it's tiring. Let me tell you guys, as of today, I decided, because we have a treadmill in the bedroom that is basically a coat rack. I decided that I'm going to start walking on the treadmill while I watch these shows. So I watched 3 hours of shows on a treadmill, and I felt so productive, but I was so tired by that too. So I'm like, and that is nothing. And I was walking, not even jogging, walking. So I can't imagine like running around for all these sports, and trying to study and trying to keep up with my friends. It really is a lot. Petra says, I thought Bentley was only in baseball. Maybe just stick to 2 sports. They'll be way overwhelmed and burned out by. Okay, so I see that you guys are on both sides of the fence here, which is totally normal, right? That's how life works with this situation. But, at the very least, I think her intention here is just to get him very active into goal setting, into teamwork and stuff like that, and away from junk food and a, very like sit down on the couch type of lifestyle, which, can't complain about, right? Now, in LA again, I really loved seeing Zach and Cheyenne and her family at the 4D ultrasound. They were all so happy, and it's really nice to see how well they all get along, like they're all just like one big happy family, basically. And so that was really nice to see, like everybody jumping around. Cheyenne says that Ace looks exactly like her, and I have to agree. I think he did have her nose and everything. And so Zach, of course, was kind of like teasing her about that as well. Like, at the end of the day, it's still a boy, my boy, so whatever, right? Then we head back over to Michigan, where Caitlyn is excited to get her own building to start her own microbraid. I'm so sorry, you guys. My head is in between English and French right now. Kate, she's her own microblading practice. Again, isn't the IRS after them? Like, it's kind of weird because they don't owe like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, even 100,000 to the IRS, or even 200, 300,000. Don't they owe over $1 million to the IRS? How much do these people owe the IRS at this point? Can you guys tell me in the comment section? Let me look. Because I'm pretty sure they owe at least $1 million. Caitlyn, Tyler, IRS. I'm sure it's a lot of money at this point. Okay, so they owe over 800,000 as of April of 2020, but now we are in October of 2021. And so now I'm kind of like, interest adds up, right? So I believe interest on something that is $800,000 at this point, I would not be surprised if they owed upwards of $900,000, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Yes, it was 100,000. Yes, I'm streaming from Paris. And okay, so thank you guys. 900,000, you guys. Yes. Okay. So that is exactly what it is. And so now here she is talking about opening a brick and mortar business. It doesn't make sense to me. This is why I feel like she should have some kind of a deal, as a brand ambassador or something with the place that she's currently doing her apprenticeship. I don't know. Like, I don't think that it's a smart move for her right now. So, back to Mackenzie. Can I ask you guys, do you enjoy Mackenzie this season? Because I know I said during her first season that I liked her, and I felt that it was a privilege to watch what was going on with her family and especially her mother and everything like that. But as of this season, and I also said that I didn't want her to get kicked off because then she would have been just exploited for, her mother's kind of, last year of life. But now I'm kind of over her at this point. I wonder if microblading is going to be like Caitlyn owning horses. Let's hope not. I feel like now she's in a much better space. She's taking such good care of herself these days, because you remember we used to look at her and it used to be obvious that she was not regularly brushing her teeth. She was not regularly doing her hair. She was not caring what she put on her body, like clothes or anything like that. And now when you look at her, her hair is fresh. It's like well cut. It's well groomed. Her clothes are clean and she's changing her clothes. She's not just in the same outfit. She just doesn't have that like empty look in her eyes anymore. And she looks like she's brushing her teeth these days. I feel like now she's on the up and up. And I really, truly do hope that she stays in this place that she currently is. Yeah, I really do. Nat says she loves Mackenzie. I'm seeing Dr. AJ say over Mackenzie, they all need therapy, including the children. Jennifer is not a fan of Mackenzie. Aaliyah says she's boring. Okay, I could totally see it now, you guys. Okay, I could totally see it. So, what does Dr. AJ say? Mackenzie acts like she has no idea how to be a mother. I feel like she's overwhelmed at this point. You know what I mean? She's totally overwhelmed. She doesn't like the disciplinarian aspect of it, and unfortunately that's a very important aspect of it. You can't just say, sorry, I don't like this and I'm not going to do it, and then complain that your kids are having the certain kinds of issues that they ultimately are having. And I do agree with you, Nat, that her passion for fitness is kind of inspiring for sure. Ramster says instead of finishing at least one project they've started, horses clothing rehab, no, they get into brick and mortar, right? And that's a good thing too, that you reminded me that yes, the clothing line that didn't even last either. So to go like this and take a huge risk like this is not that smart. May says, my Nana owed the IRS a couple thousand and they came for her livelihood in 0.5 seconds. LOL, not funny, but seriously, how do they get away with not paying that much? It's crazy, right? Especially as public figures, continuing to make such big purchases and, renovations and stuff. It's just not that smart at all. And apologetically, Ramel says, I will say she's okay. She just needs to leave Josh, aka Juan, like a Housewives of Potomac Juan, and then she can grow. I completely agree. I think she's outgrown Josh at this point, and it sucks to see her continue to let him bring her down, and the kids down by extension, right? Because she's been trying to tell him that the kids need a psychologist to look at them, need therapy, need all of these things. And it's all very true. And I love that she's looking forward that way. But Josh is very much like, oh, they'll grow out of it. What very nonchalant to very serious problems that Bronx especially is exhibiting. Jamie says Mackenzie does nothing for her children. She doesn't understand them or how to deal with them. Again, I think she's just overwhelmed. She's very, very much overwhelmed. And that's what makes it so difficult. She's got 3 of them and she's in over her head. I really hope that she does turn it around. Elegantly Wasted says, I like Mackenzie's bubbly and outgoing personality. And that is fair. I just felt like we weren't seeing that much of it this season. It was just trauma after trauma, depressing storyline after depressing storyline. And it's for that reason that I'm not really into it. So we're back in her backyard with a child psychologist, and the psychologist ultimately tells Mackenzie that it might actually be a good idea to hold Bronx back another year, 1 year, because it's easier for older kids in school to do well socially and academically than the younger ones, and especially boys. And she says, remember, Bronx's birthday is in August. So did you feel like this was the whole truth? This is what I thought. I kind of felt like she was kind of sugarcoating the reason why she felt as though it was a good idea to hold Bronx back particularly. Should parents automatically hold their kids back just because they have a later birthday? No, of course. You can't have a school year where everybody's only born between January and I don't know, July, right? You do have that mix. I think that this is something that she kind of used to cushion the blow of telling them that, for one reason or another, it is necessary to hold Bronx in particular back. Did you guys feel that way as well? Yeah, exactly. It absolutely is, and I'm happy that Mackenzie is doing that. And, even though Josh doesn't really get it, he's not really with it, at least he is supporting it. Pharaoh J says, I'm new here and didn't know about most of that. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Anyone else see Max smack his butt as a joke? No wonder why he smacks teachers' butts. That's interesting. I did see that. I thought it was just a cute moment, but that might be an interesting little link to have there, right? I think it's too stressful to move your kids' new school and expect them to not out, married, divorced, now together again. Too much change. Yeah, that very well could be it. That very well could be it. Sam says, Bronx has developmental delays. I hate how she portrays him as this demon child. That's what makes this show so complicated, right? It's these are representations that they're putting out there about their kids that are kind of etched in stone, so to speak, and yeah, it can be hurtful. Even with Macy last week in her storyline with Maverick, she was like, I really didn't like the way like they set him up to be made fun of. There's this one moment when she's talking about how she doesn't think that like, his, I don't know, like, I don't want to say that she doesn't think he's smart or something, but like she thought that like, intellectually he's a little bit slower than the other kids, her other kids, because they were reading and speaking well at this age and blah, blah, blah. And so they show an example. So the kids are all there and, they're asking questions to the kids. And so they ask Jade a question. Jade answers it very well, very eloquently or something. They ask Maverick a question and he answers it by saying goldfish. Do you guys remember that? Like she asked him one question and he answered goldfish as his answer, and I just didn't like the kind of like pattern of events there. I don't know. I didn't like it personally, how they set that up for the kids, So now, so Mackenzie doesn't want to hold Bronx back a year, you guys. She's like, no, I don't think I want to do that. And so the psychologist suggests that they at least enroll him in a summer learning program to keep him on a schedule with structure. And I think that was a really good suggestion, right? You can't have the kids just like sitting around all day in the summer and then try to jump them back into structure in school if they are showing that is not something that they are able to kind of deal with. And luckily, Mackenzie and Josh have the means to put the kids in those sorts of activities. So, I think it's great. Hang on one second, you guys. So sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. So they do decide that is something that they are ultimately going to consider doing for Bronx, which I think is amazing. Now, back in Indiana, we talked about this earlier in the chat. One of you guys pointed it out, but just to repeat, we don't actually get to see Amber visiting Gary's house because she brought James with her. And per her agreement with Andrew, James is not allowed to be on the show, and they're not even actually allowed to post him on social media or anything like that. Okay. Now, okay, so again, Amber doesn't have friends. What happened to Cousin Crystal, you guys? What happened to that? Do you remember when they tried to make, was it Cousin Crystal? They tried to make her like, one of the Team Emoji stars. Basically, we got a storyline about her and her like deadbeat dad situation, deadbeat baby daddy situation and everything. And then she all of a sudden just ups and vanishes. What happened there, you guys? What happened? Wasn't that weird? She kind of is just not here at all this season. I don't know. I'm kind of interested in knowing what, like, did they fall out or something like that? Oh, okay. Let's see. She claims Crystal stole money. Well, her mom stole money from her. She's still out here talking to her. Crystal's family too, like, okay. Interesting. I wonder how much money she stole because her mom stole $30,000. Chelsea was asking herself the same thing as well. Allie says we need a dedicated live to Amber because this woman has me needing to vent, telling the producer that she's now in college. She sounded so unenthusiastic, and I hate that she's that way. Oh, you guys are so amazing. Oh my God. Amber annoys me. Yes. Okay. I'm seeing it, you guys. So yes, girl, when they fired Farrah, that is when cousin Crystal went away as well, you guys. Okay. Dr. AJ says those folks dipped on Amber. She couldn't deal with Amber. Listen, and Byron Mallow, so nice to have you here. Listen, if she managed to stand by Amber through the Matt stuff, why would she vanish all of a sudden now? That's interesting to me. That really is. So they just don't speak or anything like that. Chelsea says Crystal was on last season. Where is she? I feel like who shot Roger Rabbit or like, where is this person or that Waldo? Amber and her got into a fight because she doubted her and her ex. Oh, the Belgian guy? Is that what happened? Oh my God. I'm going to do a deep dive. This just came to my head all of a sudden. I have to do a deep dive to find out where this girl is, like, where are they now special kind of thing on Cousin Crystal. So now, again, she's got no one to talk to. So she's FaceTiming her mom to talk about, visiting Leah and stuff. And she tells her mom that Gary asked her to let bygones be bygones. She said that the visit was awkward for Leah, but that time will heal those wounds. And she also said that she tried to explain to Leah that she felt the same way that Leah does about her own mom, but that her mom ultimately wound up being her friend. Now, this is where I've got a question for you guys. Amber literally rolled her eyes at Leah complaining about her not being there for 12 years of her life. Did you guys catch that as well? She's kind of like, like, get over it, like, I wasn't there for you for your whole childhood. Get over it. That attitude is just so weird, right? Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's just so obvious why Leah doesn't really want anything to do with her, and it just keeps flying over her head. I really don't understand it. Like, she's just like, Leah was complaining about me not being there for 12 years. She's saying the same thing she's always saying. She just keeps rolling her eyes. I'm like, this is serious, right? 12 years. Like, the girl is 12 years old. So basically you were not there for any part of her life, and you want her to just brush that off? What? Amanda says, is Amber even with a Belgian guy anymore? I forgot about him. No, they're no longer together. She's lost. I like Crystal. Amber just screws up all her relationships. SMAS. She really did try to keep it real with Amber here and there. Sure, she kind of like blew smoke up her ASS sometimes in order to get those free manicure sessions and those free dinners and lunches and everything like that. But I don't know. Yeah. See, Alice says that's the attitude. Yeah, Amber has a very entitled attitude when it comes to Leah. And like Ramster says, she's a little weird. She absolutely is weird. Okay, I think she talks to invisible people that tell her people are stealing from her. So you guys are not buying that Cousin Crystal stole from Amber. Okay, that's very interesting to me. One thing that's kind of unique to the Teen Mom franchise is that, like, the family people, like, when they show up, they get paid on the show. In the Real Housewives, they don't. So Cousin Crystal would have been getting paid from her time on the show, as Amber's co-star, basically. So why would she need to steal from Amber particularly? And she doesn't have like a gambling addiction or substance abuse problem the way, or to my knowledge anyway, the way that Amber's mom did. So yeah, maybe you're right that this story might be a little bit too far-fetched. Huh. Very interesting. Okay. Piper's here. She says, I always felt like Crystal was a little bit of a creeper, stirring the pot, etc., like Leah's friend Kayla. For someone, Kayla rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. Huh. I never really thought about Leah's friend Kayla. That's interesting. Okay. Very, very interesting. Now, lastly, you guys, Zach and Cheyenne. Okay, so I just want to like set the groundwork here. On Cheyenne's first season of the show, she got physical with Zach. She got drunk and she wanted to kick him out of a party. This is when she was chasing after Corey, but in a relationship with Zach. And she wanted to kick Zach out of a party. And so she goes and tries to shove him, and people have to hold her back from shoving him again. Right? And then in the premiere episode of this season of the show, what happens? Zach wants to hear the baby's heartbeat, but he couldn't hear the baby's heartbeat. And so he complains to her about it, and she starts screaming at him. She gets up in his face and starts screaming at him. I called it verbally abusive, in my opinion. And then she ultimately ends up kicking him out of the car that he was driving, leaving him stranded on the side of the road. I call that abusive as well, in my opinion, right? So now Zach is talking to her about, I'm setting the scene. And so Zach is talking to her about the fact that he's happy that she, what did he say? Because I wrote this down. That she allowed him to go on that 4D ultrasound thing. And, he said that you didn't have to go out of your way to find an ultrasound place that would include me. Was that kind of sad to anybody else? I kind of felt like battered boyfriend vibes from that statement. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's nice and everything like that, but like, I don't know. Like, you didn't have to include me. You didn't have to go out of your way or anything like that. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Zach just seems like such a soft person, like, and I really hope that things are better in their world, because that was really rough to see, like the kind of history of their relationship, especially that first episode. I just felt like, I don't know. I feel like he's, sometimes you have people in your life or people that where they seem to kind of like have a low opinion of themselves, and it's very obvious in the way that they speak about themselves, or the way that they speak to the people that they're dating or are married to or whatever, or just, you know, the stuff that they put up with. I don't know. Like that sent, like, it kind of made me sad for him. The way he said it, like, it just made me sad for him. Shirley says, she wouldn't do that to Corey though. She treats Corey good, but Zach treats her good and she takes advantage. Yeah, I noticed that as well. You know, like, I don't know. For her to move that party and everything for Corey's to be there, even though Corey is the one who decided that he wanted to be out of town for his own daughter's birthday. I don't think she would have done that for Zach. Cheyenne is definitely a spoiled brat and doesn't truly care for Zach like she does for Corey. If Corey called her today, she would be gone. Ooh, Lord, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. And Susie said that moment was kind of sad too. Yeah. Mayor says, I think that shy scene is reaching because something like that happened to me recently and you really don't know until it's happening. Andrea says, but why wouldn't he be included? That's the dad. See, that's my point. You know, it's like, but just for context, he wasn't included in the last one because of COVID rules. At that clinic, he wasn't allowed in. She wasn't allowed in, guests in, no partners, no nothing like that. And so that's why, you know, he couldn't get into that session. Anyway, you guys, that does it. A recap of last night's episode of Teen Mom OG. Just a heads up, y'all. I'm going to take the link and put it here for you below. I will do young and pregnant a little bit later on the day as well. So definitely make sure to head on over there. I think it's in 30 minutes or an hour or something like that. Definitely make sure to head over there. And then after that, I will be doing a recap of last night's episode of Vanderpump Rules as well. It's been so nice getting to speak with you guys live, and I'm looking forward to recapping those other two shows with you as well. Young and Pregnant, and then Vanderpump Rules. So the link that you're seeing right here for Young and Pregnant. I believe that I'm about to start in 1 hour there. Thank you so much, you guys, and I will see you in my next recap. Bye now.